start the
Hold on a
YouTube
sec. I
stream.
was like, make sure the stream is up. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. I prefer to avoid this method just because internet's really bad right now with quarantine, but it's what we've got, so
I
it's what we'll
I
use.
I've alt tabbed. Is the
No, it's
stream
still
still
fun.
running?
It's still fun. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
That
I'm
is
going to
that is
pop over the rules page and we'll go over the intro. I'm just going to give it a short pause of silence so it's easy for me to trim.
All right. Sure. I.
All right. We're hopping into Series 4 for the Quarantine Games. This is going to be Alex versus Fate. It's going to be an interesting one. They are playing Skullgirls, League of Legends, and Pokemon Showdown. My understanding is that neither of them know Pokemon Showdown, but both of them are pretty familiar with the other two games. So,
I know Alex has done a few random battles with Liam, I think, and maybe a little bit with Tony in terms of Pokemon Showdown, but I don't think he understands like the whole economy, I
the
guess,
finer points of
behind
it.
the game.
Okay.
Yes,
That's more than I thought he had. So that's actually
he understands he understands how to set up a sweeper, and that's more than a lot
that's
of
more than
people.
most people. Yeah. We'll see how that
Yeah.
goes for him.
By the way,
All right.
is we're calling Alex by Alex. Is Fate actually their name?
That's I was gonna hop into that, but yeah, that is actually one of the things that we don't know. Fate is the
All
second. You
right.
may have heard me in the first series between Alex and Redfield mention that Redfield's one of two contestants whose first names we don't know. Fate is the other. No idea
All
on his
right.
first name. It might be
Cool.
Fate for all I know, but
That's a cool name.
yeah, no, he's the other the other big, I guess, question mark coming in here. We don't know much about how Redfield's gonna play. We don't know much about how Fate's gonna play. Alex, as mentioned previously, has a pretty well established track record throughout the group in how he does in games. So,
He has his finger in a lot of pies when it comes to gaming
oh
genres.
yeah, we're expecting a lot from him. I'd be frankly surprised if he didn't show up in the playoffs, but we'll see how he gets there. So,
He's mentioned in passing that a lot of he's friends with a lot of people, especially from his Discord server, that are quite skilled in games,
oh yeah,
like fighting games, League of Legends specifically, games that I'm curious to see whether Fate's one of those people, and I'm also equally curious why Alex would challenge him to that game if they are
that's true.
that kind of
Alex
person.
Alex has mentioned before that he's got quite the network kind of branching
Yeah.
out in different skill levels. So if Fate is one of these higher people coming through, we might be about to see something really interesting.
Is this actual game or is this more practice from Alex?
I'm sure that this is going to be more practice. For
All right.
people wondering, I was not able to get Skullgirls installed in time, so I'll be spectating in Discord stream through Leo's because Twitch was lagging for me. It's wonderful, I know.
Ah.
All right.
I don't know who Fate plays, but I do know Alex plays Valentine. One of from what I've seen on forums, a more polarizing character. They don't really do well in team-based comps. So in Skullgirls, you can select between 1 and 3 uh team members, and your health and damage scales up proportional to how many people you have. Usually, with 3 people, you can acquire a higher combo, but with 1 person, you have more health and your attacks do more
Okay.
damage.
Interesting.
Valentine is someone who people solely run. No, because her assists aren't that well. She doesn't have any really good assist, and the increased her damage makes her specials quite deadly.
All right.
I do know
Well,
that.
we'll find out what chef method they're going to go with. For now, I'm going to bring them in here and we'll talk to them about what their plan is for this.
All right.
All right. I've dragged you guys in here, Alex and Fate.
Yes.
So what's your plan for the Skullgirls games, I guess?
Okay, so what what we're gonna do first is okay, so we're gonna do best of three. So three or best out of 3 matches.
Right.
We are going to choose one character per round, and after you use that character, you cannot use them anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you have someone you can play outside of Valentine, Alex?
Yeah, do you?
I mean, yes, because there was like a few others I actually played, but the thing is, I haven't touched this game in so long, and the only
Same,
one
bro.
I have muscle memory for is Valentine.
Fair enough.
So-
Fair enough. All right. We'll let you guys get to that then.
Okay. I'm gonna start
I'll
the server.
leave this offer to you then, you guys, since we've had other groups sort of decide it themselves. Do you want us to keep you in this chat and then have you guys mute us, or should we just throw you back into the match setup and then let you guys do your own
Either
thing?
one is. I'm okay with either.
Yeah, I don't really care. You can stay in here, but the thing is, like, is there gonna be any echo? Because I know you guys are watching on my stream too.
Right now
have
we
your
have the
stream
volume
muted.
turned off to avoid that.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Would you like to echo?
yeah,
we're gonna say no to the
Echoing's
echo.
really good. Yeah.
All right, I'll drop you guys off the other one then, and best of 3 you said, I believe.
Yes.
All right, pull up a little lovely little notepad to keep track of that, and I'll see you guys when that comes up.
All right. So,
I joined their chat.
Yeah, you joined in, I'm joining them. I was like, is it up to me now?
Just have fun.
Now it's
You...
my time.
All right. Skullgirls best of 3, and it looks like this is... Yeah, he's getting him in the lobby right now, so we should be good to go shortly.
I'm curious to see who Alex will play in addition to Valentine. I think I remember playing this game with Alex once, and he played the sort of character that people are usually introduced to Skullgirls on. I forget her name. She's the one with the the black monster hair that
She's
eats
the one that
things.
looks like Caitlyn. I forget her actual name.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Usually, something that this game is like renowned for though is the netcode. So we shouldn't see like too much latency or like inputs being eaten or like drop like it getting all like framey or whatnot unless they're on like other sides of the planet.
Oh yeah.
One of them's on Wi-Fi.
And
which
as they're about to start here, what I'm really interested in is this first game. Because they've made the rule that they can't reselect their characters, if Alex loses on his main, then it really just doesn't look good for him.
well, do you start with your main in this game?
That's a good question.
Would
I
you-
feel like
I would-
Alex would
I
be the
pers-
type who wants to start himself up on the, like, kind of hype himself up, see if he can. Because if he wins with that character, he'll be feeling good, and maybe he'll keep going with it. But
Is he going random?
that would be a bold move. That would.
He went random. All right. So Alex, I feel like if I remember, I played with some of Alex's friends in a lobby, and I think one of them was a really good Parasol player. I don't remember if that was Fate or someone else. He doesn't have all the DLC characters, so the pool of characters I can pull from for random is actually quite small. He's got like 6 less characters.
Okay. Oh, we're going through, just hopping right into it.
All right, so the gimmick with Double here is that she has moves that imitate basically every member of the cast.
I was gonna
So-
say, because the game started off and he
Yes.
immediately turned into Parasol, and
Yeah.
frankly, I didn't know what was
Turn
going
to
on.
Parasol, you see Misfortune, you see Peacock. Whereas Parasol actually has a lot of great zoning tools. Like those little orbs that she set up there. There's a lot of cool tricks you can do that allows her to. She also has a bit of range with that Parasol of hers, as you might suggest. Almost like a sword character from Smash Bros. I guess you could make if you want to make the comparison.
Right.
Um,
So
Alex seems to be getting a lot of pressure applied to him. Oh wait, Alex is the one that's Parasol.
yeah, I hadn't caught that either. Frankly, did Fate go random on him?
Maybe.
What a flex if
Huh.
that's the case. We know this isn't Alex's main, so it's not quite done and dusted if he loses this one, but it does, from my limited knowledge of the game, I've played it before, but obviously traditional fighting games aren't quite my genre. It doesn't look like he's doing so hot. He's currently going through his second life bar, and he might actually just get swept.
No. Well, hold on a second. You spoke too soon. He just needs. He can actually chip this away right there.
Okay.
So he gets one. He also. It seems like he's been able to do some like the basic inputs. You know, the quarter circles and whatnot. He seems to know at least what they are, which is more that can be said for others.
Yeah.
This is going to be
Yes.
quite the comeback, though, if he wants to make it. Fate seems to be making good use of the zoning tools available to Double.
He's sitting at around, I was going to say a 7th, now he's gone yeah, as I speak about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, first game, I guess my impressions, it didn't seem particularly close. Hopefully Alex can turn that back around when he's on one of his more
It
familiar
wasn't an
characters.
absolute sweep, but Alex was. It was definitely like different tiers. It wasn't a win by a landslide. Alex was able to grab one round.
Mhm.
But it was not the greatest.
Not what he wanted to see. Alright, so Alex is now on his main character, if I'm not mistaken,
Yes.
correct? Yes.
Valentine is definitely a rushdown character. Lots of aerial and and ground mobility, combo tools out the ass, combo sliders equally as numerous.
Okay. He does seem more familiar already. We saw at the gate on round 1, Fate just took a commanding lead. This is much closer already.
It's unfortunate though he dropped that combo. I saw him practicing it earlier. He messed up the heavy kick, I believe, in the air.
Well, that was.
He went for a different setup in the air this time, going for a special play. He didn't confirm it. He didn't try to confirm it with a combo, which it seems Fate does actually know what he's doing, so he's aware of what he can and cannot block.
Yeah,
There's a lot of tools to get out of combos in this game.
I'm under the impression, looking at this now, this is definitely, I mean, it's a given when Fate's selecting random, but this definitely seems like the game's going to be Fate-sided. If Alex can take it, then that'd be huge, because having played with him before, I'm expecting the next game to actually go Fate's way as well. We'll see what happens there. Alright, so
I
Alex...
think he can bring this back.
Absolutely.
There's a chance.
This one's very well within reach. If he's able to make the adaptations, he seems right now. They've been trading back and forth pretty evenly, but it's been sort of 40-60 in Fate's favor.
It's a weird combo way he's starting combos here actually, because Valentine usually favors her kicks because they have larger range and the same usually cooldown as her punches. So it's a bit safer to start with that, and then lead in with the uppercut that you see him lead to all the air combos, I guess.
Okay.
Good poke from him. Going in, switching it up.
Yeah.
Again, starting with the light punches.
It's far from
Don't
over, but it
hate
seems
it.
like Alex's hits are in general. He's getting a lot more chip damage, whereas Fate's confirming into some heavy hits.
He keeps dropping the combos. You see, like whenever he lands a hit, usually Valentine just needs to touch them once with one of her quicker hits in order to lead into a uppercut, and it's he kept dropping it.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Well, Alex's main's going to hit the ground the same way as his, I guess, secondary character did, and that's it. That's the 2-0 sweep in the best of 3. So, unfortunate, but it did seem like Fate was more familiar in that game. I have to imagine that Alex knew what he was getting into when he chose this one.
He did mention he hasn't played it in a while.
Yeah. All right.
So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Well, Fate's going to
Bring him
take
back
that
in.
one.
Or-
And I guess we'll just bring them in here and get ready to set up the next game. So that one we're going to be able to spectate more directly. It's going to... just left the chat.
Yep,
Yep.
you did that. You sure did.
It's going to be League of Legends, so it should be a pretty easy setup. I will actually host the lobby. I'm not sure if they're aware of that yet, but it will get rid of any heavy ping advantages. So let's drag them in here and see what they want to go for.
Should stop League of Legends as well.
Hey, alright.
Hey.
Hey, that was fast. How's it
Yeah,
going?
it
Did
was
you
like
enjoy
really
that
fast.
2-minute fight? Good to know.
Yeah, it was a...
Alex, your parasol is sick.
Dude, I don't remember how to play Parasol. I don't even know what like buzz or what special I
I
did.
saw you practicing like some of the combos from Valentine. Like you were doing well when you were practicing, but you dropped them like twice. Two big ones.
It's alright.
Yeah, because I knew against a bot it would work fine.
You missed
but
the body
in
bag.
Yeah, the mid combo for that one you can block. So
Yeah.
I wanted to reset after that because I
We'll get
knew Fate was smart enough to block it.
Right. We'll get into a
Okay, you'll get into
post-interview
that
in that in the end. For
Yeah.
now, though, how do you guys want to... I figure probably I'd host it to avoid any big ping discrepancies, but what are you guys thinking as far as formatting goes for this 1v1?
So we are going to play champs that we've never played before. So
Okay.
we're going to do how this is going to work is we are going to do one champion per kill because once you die once, you pretty much can't come back from that if you don't have any help.
Okay.
Didn't know that.
Thanks for the donation, Poppy.
Depending on,
Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Normally it's first
depending on
to
the
two, but this will make the rounds go by faster, so it should work out just fine.
Hell yeah.
So we're going to be playing, I guess in no particular order, Azir, Gangplank, and Sejuani.
Oh, so
all three
mirrors?
through rotations. Yes, we're new mirror matches.
All right.
Oh,
Okay. Okay.
Keep things as
So
fair as
that's
possible.
blind
Same
pick then,
runes,
and
everything.
Do you guys want Howling Abyss or Summoner's Rift here?
Let's do Howling Abyss just because I
Sure.
want all the skills.
All right.
All the skills at the start.
Yes.
Allow spectators.
Oh, so you
You have
want
to
to
read a bit.
No.
What are we
no
going first?
So
What do you
we'll
mean?
go Azir first. We'll go Azir first just because
Okay.
starts with A.
Alphabetical order.
Haha.
Full order.
But he also has a Z in his name.
Shut the fuck up. Aha! Alright.
All right.
I'm gonna take that side. First to
Okay.
join. Alright, I'm gonna do my runes. So
Loading. I think I
Fate,
gotta
here,
pee.
Fate, I'm gonna
I'll be
send you
back.
the runes. Oh, okay.
Okay, just send them. I'll be back in a bit.
Alright.
Okay.
I'll just drop you guys back into match setup then for now, and as soon as you guys are both ready, just send me a message in this chat, and I'll kick you guys off.
Wait, hold on. Which chat?
In the league chat. I just sent the lobby chat.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Alright, got you.
Yep. I'll drop you guys there now.
Okay.
Alright, so
So they're starting with Azir. Blake, you actually play Azir.
yeah,
What
I
do-
used
what
to play a
do you
lot of
do
Azir for a
in your
while.
match?
Very familiar on this one, so it's actually kind of convenient. Do you remember the other two characters were talked about before these kick off?
Sejuani and Gangplank.
Gangplank.
Gangplank
I've
is gonna
actually
be
played all three of those, so
Yes.
I'll have a little bit of insight, I guess. For the Azir in particular, though, it's going to be a lot about the soldier management. Azir has one high cooldown self-repositioning move and one medium cooldown soldier repositioning move. So if you need to reposition your soldiers, they can dodge it one time. That's going to be probably the biggest thing, is when they decide to move themselves versus their soldiers, because once a fight starts, it's very easy for either of them to chase.
So long as we have time before we jump into it, could you like break down Azir's kit?
Yeah, you know what? That's a good call. So Azir he's a mage, but he's a mage that is mostly described as
Air
playing like a
quotes.
marksman. Yeah, air quotes mage. He will summon sand soldiers, and when he basic attacks something that's outside of his range, the sand soldiers will actually stab the target instead. So Azir's entire kit is based around controlling the positions of these sand soldiers and making sure that he keeps them on his target while he keeps himself out of danger. It's pretty unique, because while most characters, when they basic attack, would have to be in the thick of the fight, Azir completely skips around that problem. So he's also, rather notably, known to be one of the most difficult characters in the game. Absolutely in the top 20. Most people put him top 10 for hardest characters to play in League of Legends. So it's really interesting that they choose Azir of all characters as one of their blind 1v1 picks.
It's funny they chose Azir, a difficult champion to play, in addition to Gangplank, another one that's not exactly the easiest.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, going over all of them, I guess, since we probably won't have as much downtime in between the follow-up rounds. Sejuani we can skip right over. She's actually one of the easiest. I'm wondering if they use some sort of random number generator to pick their champions, because Sejuani's one of
Maybe
the
they
least
set
1v1
someone.
friendly champions in the game. It'll be extremely...
It will be extremely much. It will be a slap fight.
Yeah,
It
no,
will
they'll hit each other until someone dies. But Gangplank, similar to Azir...
Gangplank's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, he's one of those secondary resource champions where he has his barrels that he has to keep track of. So you can place the barrels, and if you place them close enough to each other, breaking one barrel sets off a chain reaction, breaking other attached barrels. But both players can attack the barrels. So I'm wondering if they'll start getting into the mind games of shooting your barrel when it's on 2 hits remaining, hoping that your enemy gets a hit in beforehand, and how those trades work out. Frankly, for both the Azir and Gangplank, I will be surprised if we see any of the higher level techniques in action. They're both known to be very exciting champions to watch, but that's generally because professional players are using them.
For the Gangplank match that's taking place in Howling Abyss, and those middle bushes that Gangplank can set up like an easy two chain barrel already in there without it being threatened, unless
That's
they
true.
actually go into the bush itself. So if they're smart, they'll play around what little stealth is available to them in Howling Abyss.
There'll be plenty of room for it. I'm also interested in their runes. Specifically for the Azir matchup, Gangplank, we can probably expect to see double Grasp of the Undying. But Azir can take any one of, like, probably 4 runes standard and 7 runes without questioning it. They've definitely got options here, and I want to know what they're going to go for. I'd
Again,
expect
Sejuani
lethal tempo.
A bit straightforward.
Yes, Sejuani, they will both probably be taking Aftershock, and they'll run into each other over and
If they
over
wanted
again.
to be a bit more aggressive, they could press the attack Sejuani maybe.
That would be, it would speed things up for sure,
That'd
because,
be fun.
alright,
What would be? You've played Sejuani before as well. What would be like your 1v1 Sejuani mirror match? Like you know that they're taking Aftershock. What would you take in response to that?
if you know that your opponent's going to take Aftershock, then actually it's a really good call, especially in 1v1, to take Lethal Tempo. Unfortunately, we do know they're going to
They're probably gonna send each other rune pages to make it even more.
Yeah, they're both. From what we know, they're both using the same runes.
Alright.
So we probably won't get to see any big mind games like that. Lethal Temple, of course, is a just good 1v1 rune in general because it gives you extremely heavy all-in potential. It's the most standard pick for Azir. Azir can take his foremost standard would be Lethal Tempo, Hail of Blades, Electrocute, and Arcane Comet. The Lethal Tempo, though, it should be what we're seeing. I'm wondering if either of them are going to be playing aggressive, or if we're just going to see them kind of farm until they hit level 6, and then they'll both go for the Drift attempt.
What do you think the secondary tree should be for Azir, assuming they take a Lethal Tempo?
If they're going for Lethal Tempo, then their secondary should almost certainly, I guess in 1v1 it changes, but you would generally expect sorcery secondaries. It's just, it gives you some good, well, yeah, either sorcery or inspiration secondary. Sorcery gets you that,
The
what's
mana
it
flow
called?
ban?
Overwhelming, that's not the
Oh.
name. It's the one that scales with power. Unfortunately, I've forgotten it.
Oh, yeah, Gathering Storm.
Gathering Storm, thank you. Gives you Gathering Storm, and Azir as a scaling champion does really well with it. In the 1v1, Biscuits is probably better from the inspiration tree, though, so we might get to see that.
I'd be interested to see if they're gonna just go for the same build as well. That'd be...
That's true. Is this same build, same runes, or...
If one of them were to go for, like, an early all-in, I'd go... Like, if I were to go for an early all-in on...
Okay, now obviously, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I can't help but notice that Fate hasn't picked Azir. I have an at in the general chat. I don't think that he owns Azir.
Okay.
Alright, now that one's actually from Ray. I'll ask you your opinion on this. Personally, it might get cluttered, but if you don't think it'll be concerned, we have a request for a surprise caster for League of Legends.
Does Ray play Azir, Gangplank, or Sejuani?
He does know how Azir plays. He has never touched Gangplank, and I believe Sejuani is kind of the most... Alright, I'm not actually sure what the problem is. We're going to remake the game real quick. Fate didn't lock Azir and then eventually got auto-selected to Kog'Maw. Whether or not the launcher wouldn't let him see champs. Okay, so Fate's launcher had a crash. That's what the problem was. Sorry for that delay.
Fair.
Friendless spectators, and we'll just throw that. Oh, game is not unique. Quarantine games. Hey, what do you know? Alright,
The quarantine games.
we're gonna get them back in here.
Oh, I've been invited
Ray-
to the game.
Ray's definitely listening to the stream. I have a message coming in from him that he knows how to play all three, which doesn't particularly surprise me, but I'm mostly concerned about clutter in comms.
Yes. Clean comms and whatnot. I can't join spectator, by the way.
You know what? Yeah, there's no spectators.
Ah. Let's remake again.
Third remake, very official. You know what we're going to do here, actually, just to give him a fair shot. We'll let Ray come in here, and I'll actually go quiet for those comms and just pop in for the in-between rounds. Give him
Alright.
a chance at it. We'll just leave this to all instead of friend list only. Hopefully that was the problem.
Sure.
Alright, can confirm there is a spectator role now, so we'll get them in here.
Alright,
And
let me get in there. Spectator, boys.
for Ray, since you're clearly watching the stream, hop into match setup and I'll drag you here before muting myself when this match kicks off.
The man, the myth, the legend is here.
Thank you. Alright, I know I heard Sejuani and I heard Azir. I don't remember the
The third one is Gangplank, which,
Oh, I love
as you may have
fucking-
noted, two of these champions are known to be some of the hardest in their roles to play. It's going to be
Yep.
certainly interesting because this is a blind 1v1. Neither of them have played any of these champions before.
Interesting. I'm gonna expect a lot of very interesting barrels then.
Yeah, we
can
mentioned
only
that.
hope.
They want a 1v1 on Howling Abyss, and those middle bushes are just going to be filled with barrels.
So the first one
Okay,
is
fair
Azir.
Yes. With that,
Well, I'm wondering if any of them have watched any Gangplank gameplay and know about the barrel trick that you can do while you're if you parlay the barrel and drop the second barrel while you're in the animation.
we're going to see. I don't expect them to. I'm thinking it's going to be very straightforward.
Fate's
For
a
now, though,
wild card, though.
I'm going to
I'll
mute,
go
and I'll
with
let you
that.
two go at it. I'll just watch from the
Alright.
sidelines.
All right,
Well,
so
watching on
Ray,
the sidelines from Azir is gonna be interesting. Yes.
Ray, for Azir. So in the Gangplank matchup, I feel like the first one to use the orange is basically on the back foot. Is there anything equivalent of that for Azir? Do you think?
For Azir, it's definitely the first person to shuffle and screw it up in a normal Azir matchup, I would say. But in this,
But
I think it's
this is
probably
Azir mirror match though.
it's probably going to be the person who uses who drops 2 soldiers at once first and doesn't make use of it. Because at the point where you're down a soldier, it's going to be rough.
Right. If you have less resources than the other,
Yeah.
that would be a good time to capitalize on a mistake. It looks like something happened. Did Fate's launcher?
Looks like Faint's launcher
Yes,
died.
just to jump in, Fate's launcher NPC has historically had a big problem with champ select in League, so it seems he's getting a recurring issue where he can't actually see any of the champion portraits. So,
Does
Nice.
Alex win by default?
unfortunately, he has stolen Team 1 in Fate's absence, but it seems like that's going to be the extent of it for now.
He's number one.
Uh,
Are they gonna try one more time, or is that just it for League? Does Alex win by default?
I do think they're
Yes.
going to keep going for it. We'll give it a good one or two
Technical
more tries
difficulty.
before we'll give it one more try here, and then we'll switch host and see if maybe with Fate hosting it works out better.
You have a
Okay.
technical difficulties like splash card they can put
Yeah.
up.
I really
Uh,
wish I can open up Microsoft Paint real quick.
Maybe
Uh,
some elevator music.
It's
Did you sell your recorder from middle school?
not here, unfortunately. I would definitely go for it if I didn't also know that recorders come through very poorly on mics in Discord. It would be
And
more
in
screechy
general,
than
and in
anything.
real life, they do also come out quite
Okay,
horribly.
yeah, they're not the most majestic instrument, that's true. But
I think I would rather hear melodica.
I mean, I think I'd rather just hear a regular flute.
That's too good though.
yeah, but you see, you can't get a
You gotta
flute that's
tap
just
it.
made out of a thin piece of plastic. Like recorders, they do one thing right. Oh,
Cheap.
quickly, just
Yeah.
gonna
Do we have updates?
bring it. An interesting one. I was just looking over at the side, and Tony has joined the match setup chat.
Okay.
I don't actually.
He's
I don't know
there?
why he's there.
Is he a cheerleader?
You cheerleader. But Blake,
There is performance with Alex.
you've played some Azir in the past. I've tried to play some Azir and have been not very good at him. But do you agree with the fact that the first person who uses 2 soldiers and doesn't properly trade with them is probably on the back foot?
It's entirely going to be around the shuffle games because, as I said before, Azir has an ability that repositions his soldiers, an ability that repositions himself, but his self repositioning ability is on a much longer cooldown. So as soon as whoever shuffles themselves first, whoever dives forward first, is probably going to lose because the other player can instantly move the soldiers on top of that person, and there's nothing you can do to avoid it at that point.
But what a play could be to wait for your opponent to use more soldiers and then dash in after that opportunity has passed.
Certainly.
If one would make a mistake like that.
Especially when we get into the ultimate, it is possible that shuffling yourself forward can be the correct play as long as you ulti them away from you or under tower even, if one of them somehow ends up with more tower pressure. There's definitely a lot going on here, but one of the primary things that I'm expecting to see is a lot of low mana bars. It's very easy when you're not familiar on Azir to get away with spawning soldiers and shuffling them, both of which cost mana and both of which can be done semi-frequently, and it's tempting to. I wouldn't be
see
surprised
them
to see
taking
either of them
advantage
run
of
out of mana entirely.
You expecting to see some backs for some lost chapters?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting.
Well, it's
Not that would
a
actually
Howling
work.
Abyss,
We are on Howling Abyss, and it's first death. Normally, I brought this up earlier to them, but I don't know if they actually actually realized that I said it. Normally, 1v1s are played first to 100 CS, first to take a tower, or first to 2 kills. They have decided on first to 1 kill, which means that there's actually no chance for either of them to buy any items on Azir.
especially on Howling Abyss.
Right, it doesn't seem
So
particularly well thought out, but we'll...
If they're thinking with their noggin, they definitely want Mana Flow banned. Either Mana Flow banned or Biscuit Delivery. I don't want one of the two.
I'd
I
hesitate to
think
say
a
even
biscuit
both,
delivery.
because honestly, they are using the same rune page, so whichever one, they'll both have it. But when a big part of playing Azir is a lot of times you kind of just shove your waves, or even if you're not shoving your waves, you don't really worry too much about your mana in the early game because you run teleport on Azir, so you can just teleport back into the lane, and then after you've gotten your Lost Chapter, your mana is fairly self-sustaining. They don't have that option. They're never going to get a Lost Chapter. They're never going to be able to teleport back into the lane. There's nothing waiting for them. They
If
just...
this is ARAM rules, they will have enough gold to get a Lost Chapter.
That's
I
true.
think they'll be just barely short. I think they start with 1,200.
No, you start with 1,400 gold.
1400
gold.
gold. 1400 for...
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so you
Okay.
can get a Lost Chapter and 2 potions. If one of them was going to go for like the early victory, I would go Biscuit Delivery, Time Warp Tonic, and Corrupting Potion start. That'd be wild.
I would personally definitely go for Biscuit Delivery, Time Warp Tonic, almost regardless.
All right, we're going to see if it works out this time. We'll know rather quickly, because the lobby will immediately disband if they still aren't able to see their champion portraits. I don't actually know what our secondary plan is if this doesn't go through.
Try them hosting it, or is that what we're doing right now?
Yeah, we're going to go for that next. It's just, assuming that this as a whole, if Fate's not able to get his client under control, I don't know. And it seems like...
Alex.
Alright, Alex may have just left because it wasn't working for Fate, but we don't know.
Oh,
And it looks like Fate has left, so the lobby has fully disbanded.
I am black screened.
Yes, that's what just happened to all of us, I believe. Alright, I am going to quickly bring them in here to figure out what the plan is.
Professional stream, guys.
Well, this is outside of our control, unfortunately, as unprofessional as we already are.
The launcher is
So they
outdated.
can see it.
Hey, so I just brought you
there.
guys in here. What's the I guess plan if this isn't going through well?
Well, so if this doesn't work, then we can just do like 2 different matches of Pokemon.
What if
That's all I
we
can-
let's try one more and see if what happens if Fate makes the lobby.
Yeah, that's what I'm making him do right now.
Okay.
Just to see if it
Holding
works.
Abyss, blind pick now.
And I will
Um,
keep you
if
guys in
that-
here until it doesn't work this
Which one
time.
is blind
Okay.
pick, right?
Yes, Howling Abyss blind
Just,
pick.
Yeah, blind pick. Yeah. If that doesn't work,
The
if that doesn't work,
spectators one.
you
What
have
about
stick
that?
fight, right, Fate?
Yes. but
Oh.
I don't
If
think
that
that's
doesn't
a
work, we
good
can do stick
game
fight.
for that.
I know, but it's last resort. Last resort.
Stick fight, I do not.
Lobby only, friends list only, or everyone?
Just leave it to all.
Close it.
It'll
and
be
I'll
all
invite
good.
everyone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I
And friend-
guess. Right, Spoke Johnson invite, and you can invite them because I don't have.
Yes. I don't think I have Ray added on this account.
I can add.
Okay, so just yeah.
This is your main account.
Yes. I want that side Fake. On the other side, you're better than me.
What the?
Alright.
Yeah, we can go against Leo. Leo then. Fuck.
I'll fight you.
On that
I'll
side.
fight you all.
Alright, let's get this one
All
going, and
right,
then if it doesn't work,
let's-
we'll just keep you guys in this chat while we figure out what our secondary plan
Okay.
is.
We can go to Yu-Gi-Oh and
Okay.
Pokemon.
I. Can you see it?
No.
Oh my
I
god.
cannot.
Okay. Guess one. Just do like one lucky game.
Let's just do one game that doesn't count or something. How about that?
I don't know.
Or no, really he left.
No, he left.
I am so
There
sorry.
he goes.
I did
He's
not
got it.
hear. Can you invite me again?
Yes.
Yeah, you know,
You can't like drop it down. Like you
So-
can't see the icon, but could you drop it down and just search?
In
I
the
cannot
interest
see
of
the
making this
champion, but I
happen-
get a random one at the end of the count.
in the interest of making this happen faster, I'm gonna throw you guys back in your other chat. We're gonna go with
Okay.
whatever happens here. Fate, I'd suggest you pick your champion first, and then you guys can decide what's fair for Alex to pick based on that.
I think he's
Well,
I
it picks
cannot
his
see
randomly.
anything.
No,
cannot
yeah,
see
but he
anything.
should. Oh, does he not know until it locks in?
No, it locks in like at the very
Alright.
end.
He gives me a
So-
random champion, and it
That
gives me like 5
is-
seconds to
yeah, that's
change
definitely-
everything else, and that's a problem.
So
Not
wait, how about we
ideal.
do this? How about we do this? We play with entirely random champions.
And you just have to.
We'll
You have
just
to.
wait till the
You both
countdown
just pick
timer.
random.
You have to come up with a
Yeah.
random rune page for it. Just like what do you think is generally good?
Oh, we won't even have time for rune pages. We'll,
Alright.
we'll just use.
Ah,
In
you
that
get
case,
the
I am
90
gonna set you
get
guys
the
up on some
90
more standard
seconds if you
rules,
get the-
and we're
the
just gonna do a
random
best of one.
champions,
I'll
Okay,
get there.
2 people talk
Right.
at the same fucking time.
Sorry,
Right,
I'm gonna set you guys up
you-
on more standard 1v1 rules, and you're gonna do a best of one, okay? Just so
Okay,
so we
sounds
can kind of move this along, so to speak.
Yeah. Okay.
Standard rules are first to 100 CS, or first to take a turret, or first to 2 kills. Whoever
Okay,
accomplishes
sounds
one
good.
of those 3 things first wins.
Okay.
Cool.
That is something that can happen. Yeah.
It certainly
Okay.
can.
By the way,
If you go to random champions, we get like the full 90 seconds to fix the run. So
Okay, well, we'll do that then.
Oh.
All right, so we can move on to our chat, and then we'll start the game.
Yep.
Get
I'm gonna
outta
throw you guys
here.
over. Go for it.
Gotcha.
All right, so all that analysis was worthless.
So much spent on figuring out what the Azir setup's gonna be, and the Gangplank metagame. It's unfortunate. I don't know if Alex realizes that by selecting champions, whatever he seems to have realized.
He did.
Yeah. By picking champions, it's not going to give him a random champion.
Yeah.
So
Need to not hover,
that-
my dude.
Alex is now creating a custom game.
okay.
We're going.
I was so interested to see the low elo Azir 1v1.
It would have been interesting for sure.
Well,
He's.
I'm pretty sure the low elo Gangplank 1v1 would have probably devolved into people pressing Q on each other, but
Pretty much. Alright, I'm going to get you guys in here. Let's hop in Spectator. They've made a new one. And it seems like they're
Absolutely.
just going to move forward from here. So,
okay.
I spectate. All right, do not hover. I don't know. Maybe DM Alex say like remind him don't hover over anything.
I think they have the setup where they just hit a random. Yeah, it's all random. So that it's automatically going to give them random
Okay,
champions.
automatically random. We got that.
All good. I will stay in for the, I guess, analysis phase, and then I will trade off with Ray when they actually kick off the game. So,
Okay, cool.
oh, here they go. Volibear versus
Volibear
Draven.
versus
Okay,
Draven.
so initial impressions. 1v1s among professional players are a thing, normally as a side spectator event, but they do exist, and Draven is one of the actual meta preferred picks for his insane dueling ability if you can actually juggle those axes. Volibear does have a slight advantage in that he'll be able to interrupt Draven's axe juggling, but as a whole, this is a ranged champion versus a melee champion, and if Fate is even semi-competent on the Draven, I can't imagine it going well for Alex.
I think if Alex is smart enough, he'll just get like XP until he reaches level 2, maybe even 3 if he wants to be sure, and then just flash on him and kill him.
That's got to be the play here. You have to go all or nothing and just hope that it works out.
Yes.
Well, my thing is that even though Draven is a great early game duelist, Volibear just has so much bulk in the early game with Volibear passive and
passive.
Oh, he certainly does,
and
but
so high base damage.
unfortunately, Draven can actually just outrun him. If Alex does take the level 1 fight, he does lose straight up to spinning axes. There's nothing he can do to compete with that
Level
DPS.
2 fight.
Level 2 fight, Draven can get a movement speed ability that will actually let him outrun the Volibear. So if Fate plays this right, there shouldn't be any way for him to actually get caught.
I don't know if he's going to play it right though, especially because Draven is a much harder champion on the user than Volibear is. So in terms of ease of use, I would think that Alex has a massive advantage.
The skill floor is definitely lower for Alex.
Oh yeah, Alex just has to run at Fate and then press button. He can face roll the keyboard once he reaches him. I'm simply wondering if that will be enough. I have seen Alex in ranged versus melee matchups before, particularly Fizz. His go-to
Yes.
play on the Fizz has been he's taken 2 very different approaches. He's either all in, and that has had varying results, or he's just completely forfeited the lane. Wondering what his strategy is going to be here. The Volibear does have a decent passive for making sure you don't give away any free deaths, but really, Alex has 1 win condition here, while Fate has 3 distinct, very valid options, where I'd have to say is the advantage in all of them.
So what summoner spells would you like to see on both people, though?
Alex's summoner spells probably aren't as cut and dry as they would look. I think that if you're going up against a very good Draven player, then it's probably just Flash Ignite. But in this case, you might be able to get away with Ghost Ignite for some extra staying power in the fights. Fate side,
Yes.
it's much more clear. You straight up want Flash and heal every single time. The heal can give you a quick
want to
burst.
see exhaust or barrier on either side?
The exhaust would be an interesting choice, but I don't think it's correct here. Draven's still just going to keep hitting you through the exhaust, and while he might not get the kill during the time, you're not cutting his DPS down enough for early game Volibear to get the kill. And
I actually
on
think
Alex's side, he definitely needs the ignite damage he doesn't have any way to stick to Fate for a prolonged period of time, so he needs to be getting damage that sticks for a longer time.
I actually think the barrier would be a pretty good choice on the Draven instead of the heal, just due to blocking more damage overall, and that Volibear's damage kind of comes in bursts. So if
Oh, it certainly
he
does.
used-
The heal has the added benefit of not, basically he can pop it to not take damage. Whereas with barrier, at that point Volibear is already on you presumably. Heal gives you the movement speed boost and you can get back out. One thing's for sure, I'm hoping that Alex plays this very carefully, and I'm hoping that Fate realizes what a massive advantage he has here. Because even if a fight goes against Fate, Alex on Volibear is going to fall into a point where he needs to back up, whether it's because Fate's under turret or because he's taken too much damage. Fate needs to chase him down at that point. If Fate is on 20 health and Alex has burned Flash Ignite, he can keep chasing Alex, even if he's on low health. There's really no threat to him for this Volibear to get a turnaround kill. So if he keeps that pressure on, this really shouldn't be a close match. It's all on Fate here to see how well he plays this Draven.
It looks like Volibear has taken Press the Attack, and Draven has taken Lethal Tempo, and both have gone for Flash Ignite.
Before I drop out here, I'm actually not against the Ignite on Draven. The idea here, or what it might be, is they have gone on Summoner's Rift, by the way, so they're going to be level 1 straight from the beginning. The thought process here may be that this Ignite will hard counter Volibear's healing passive, effectively letting him secure a kill. If Alex isn't careful with his disengage and with his flash, it will allow him to close things out much easier.
I'm curious to see what Alex will start off first ability, whether or not he'll go Roar or Bite. Maybe even Tackle if he wants to go for that level 1. I wouldn't advise
Looks like
it
he
for
has
it, though.
gone for the Roar. And he has dropped a ward straight at Fate's tower. So Fate now has a free 10 gold.
Hopefully that's not the difference maker, but it was a little bit careless, so we'll see what goes on for them. For now, I'll leave you guys to it, and I'll be dropping out. Have fun.
And Fate has
Fate
also dropped a
drops the
lane
ward.
ward, but he's dropped the ward in the, well,
Neutral
theoretically,
area. Yeah.
in a better place. I don't know about burning your ward. Alex has just roared
know
and
if Alex-
spent 55 mana.
He's probably testing out the kit. I doubt Alex has even looked at Volley. Me and Blake have talked about this. Fate's a wild card. We have a pretty good read on Alex and his knowledge in games and his experience and his skill. We don't really know Fate.
And it would
From
appear
Skullgirl's game, he's quite experienced in execution-based gameplay. His knowledge is still in the question.
looks like Fate has
interesting,
already taken 2 auto-attacking.
Mm-hmm. Hitting Alex once or twice. I would like him to see apply more pressure. He's Draven, for goodness sake. He should be attacking. He should just move forward and hit him.
Well, he's
That's
done
one.
started doing that.
That's 2, 3. Do I see 4? Alex walked forward with a roar, taking a decent chunk of health and dealing only a fraction of the damage he's taken relative to his to Fate. It seems like Fate's letting him CS a little bit. I'd like him to apply even more pressure right now. It's a range versus melee matchup.
It looks like he's
Unfortunately, very common in the top lane.
It looks like Fate has listening to our comms because he's done just that, taking Alex down to half of his health.
Alex might pop passive soon, which means he needs to save his passive for the level 3 fight.
That's
There
the
goes
passive gone though.
That's the passive. Level 3 fight is looking a lot less of an appealing idea for him. Unless Fate oversteps, I don't see Alex being able to get a fight in general anytime soon.
One thing I don't necessarily like though. Oh, interesting.
Oh, hold on a
little-
second.
Good trade.
Hold on a second.
Alex has gotten a good trade
He,
off.
he stops it. I feel like he could have pushed that a little bit further, but the minion wave was coming up. He probably didn't want to take too much minion damage. That is fair. Well, it's still not a great position for Alex. If you look at their health, Fate's even relative is a bit healthier than him, and it's not great. I could definitely see Alex dying soon
Well,
if he
the
doesn't
big-
respect the Draven.
The big thing here is that Fate still has a potion and Alex does not.
He doesn't have his passive either.
So this damage is sticking onto the Volibear, but the Draven not so
A
much.
question on Draven: what do you max?
Q.
Fate is maxing W.
That's
The
an
movement speed.
interesting.
I guess that's the movement speed for the matchup, basically to kite the Volibear better. But it's an interesting choice. I thought like the spinning axe was a huge part of Draven's damage, so I figured he'd want to kill the Volibear as soon as possible. Oh,
I
here we
like-
go.
I like that choice from Fate there. He chose to drop that axe rather than potentially take some more trade damage.
Yeah, taking a
And-
Q like that could have possibly thrown him into the tower lane. That was the all-in.
And there's the kill.
That was not the right play. Alex probably could have walked away from that actually after the ignite happened, but instead he walked towards Fate to aid an auto attack. He might have been able to survive that.
Alex still had flash.
Yeah, that he did. I mentioned it before. What I would have liked to see was Alex to play passive until level 3, go flash in for an all-in. Especially if he's taking ignite. Flash all-in ignite, like, especially with Volibear passive, what's going to stop Fate? Alex now is looking. Let's see if what purchase is made. He has enough money for a ruby crystal,
And he's
And
bought
that's
the
it.
Ruby Crystal.
which does increase his W damage, so I'll give him that much. But it's not a lot. It's definitely not a lot.
Fate in a commanding position though, 10 CS lead with a kill lead, and they're not even level 6 yet.
Extra lead as well. The Fate's about to hit level 6, and Alex is only just barely hitting level 5 soon. It's not looking good. Alex is like one chance of getting a kill here now is doing an all-in once he gets ult. And
The big problem is though that if Alex is gonna have ult, so will Fate due to Fate's XP and minion lead.
that shouldn't be too much of a turn for Alex. It's going to happen either way. But Alex, as long as he can maintain Volibear passive by the time he gets ult, he can all-in Fate, I think. If he leaves Ignite and Flash up and his passive up for when he gets ult, he could definitely all-in Fate. Especially if Fate walks up like this where he's in the middle of the minion wave. He's going to end up hitting Alex, and he's going to tank minion damage a lot less. He's going to feel a lot worse taking up that minion damage now. He was able to buy a BF sword and 2 potions. So this is bad. This is bad news bears.
It looks like Fate just put the single point in W, and has returned to max in Q.
All right, maybe he misleveled it.
Could have been a miss level. Could have been a tactical level just for the attack speed.
All right. I think he might be. I'm not so sure about that. Alex is taking lots of damage. He might
And
lose
there's
passive.
the volley, her passive down.
Yeah.
The level up saves him. The level up with the passive saves him from Draven ult.
Oh, I don't think the Draven ult would have killed him yet. But the passive being popped is definitely like, I don't know how he wins this now. I genuinely don't. Fate needs to make a huge mistake now for him to even have a chance. Fate again applying pressure brilliantly. This is like what we expected to see when we saw the Draven versus Volibear matchup. This is definitely Alex is
Definitely.
forfeiting this minion wave. Let's look at CS lead. Fate is roughly 15 ahead.
More after this
gonna get
wave.
like a whole new minion wave now too, so it's gonna be like 10 more ish by the time Alex gets back. Alex is able to get Bomby Cinder, a fantastic item for Volibear, but it's usually better in like a I don't know, like a tanky slap fight sort of deal. He's not gonna be able to apply the bonus damage that well with Draven. I personally would have liked him to invest into a Bramble Vest for first item. Something that slows either movement speed, attack speed, or reflects some damage, maybe. He's able to scare Fate off.
Fate gets
Just
away
ever
with
so
the
slightly.
second plate though.
Yeah. I mean, the only reason Fate even backed up there is because he was low on mana. He could have definitely just killed Alex straight up there. He doesn't have any form of defense really. He's built health on health. But he's Draven, who now has Berserker Greaves with a BF sword.
Yeah,
Not
this is looking like complete control for
not
Fate.
greatest.
Alex does manage to get a plate down, so at least in terms of tower damage, staying roughly even.
Sure, but CS lead is still a thing, and I think Draven benefits more from gold at this instance.
Oh, we're going
Oh.
for an all-in here. Oh,
And that's it. Nope.
that's it. Alex manages to pull the kill.
Volibear passive pops again, which is unfortunate for him, but it's still a kill. We take those.
That's
He should
Volibear
definitely
for a kill.
he should stay. He should stay for this, but he didn't.
Didn't.
Neither of them have teleport. There's no fast. Draven doesn't exactly have the fastest movement speed. He should have stayed for that wave. He probably could have gotten some form of defense. He went Merc Treads. I want to point out he went Merc Treads, and he sold his Doran shield for cloth armor. He could have gone Ninja Tabby. He probably could have gotten enough gold for cloth armor without getting rid of his Doran shield. All around, lots of mistakes from Alex. Lots of mistakes from Fates also. Fates stepped up really far away from his minion. I think I think both players are underestimating the damage minions can do. There's not a lot of respect to it. They're scared of the big bad tower. That's why you see Fate not when Alex is here and his Q's up. Fate is just taking pot shots every now and then, but he's not going all in. He's just poking when he can. Alex has 25 seconds on ult, 50-ish seconds on passive. He could go all in again, but he won't have any of his summoner spells up by that time. He's gonna need Fate to make a mistake, and a big one.
I think that Alex just needs to play it calm here. He needs to not give. Oh well, he's running. He's scared Fate off. Fate's overestimating his damage without passive and R.
There's definitely too much respect for Fate for a Draven player. That is way too much respect towards your opponent.
Alex has 15 seconds on passive, so Alex's window of opportunity is coming, but he's very low on health right now.
I just noticed when Fate got killed, he didn't buy anything. He probably could have bought a Doran's Blade. Might have been saving up for a crit item, or maybe a pickaxe or something, but he could have easily bought a Doran's Blade.
I think he was saving for a pickaxe.
But imagine that extra damage and lifesteal. Alex would be in a worse position by that point.
One thing I would like to see from Alex right now is just to get a back in up, and there goes the Volibear passive.
The Volibear passive will be up by the next time Fate has flash, but Fate's also building CS at a generous rate, and he's almost halfway done with the tower. He's getting there. Alex managed to scare Fate off. Quite likely, Fate's back at his heels as soon as Alex turns around. Fate does as well. Alex getting back off. Does he have enough gold or some armor? That's all it needs to be known here.
He's going
He
to
buys
buy
another crystal
Ruby Crystal.
and
Looks
a
like he's
potion.
going straight for a potion at level 9. Interesting. Looks like he's going straight for the Sunfire Cape.
I would have liked him to go for a refillable potion at some point in this matchup if he plans on taking us further, but this tower's almost down.
One thing I would have really liked to see Alex invest in would be a Sheen for maybe an Iceborne Gauntlet or a Trinity Force even, just to give him that extra 1v1 dueling power.
There is no way in this matchup he'd be able to build money for a full build. A Sheen would probably be the furthest he'd be able to get.
Even then, an Iceborne Gauntlet for all of the extra armor.
Volibear would have gone. He wouldn't be able to get anywhere near an Iceborne Gauntlet. Well, I think health was the right route. The biggest mistake in the build right now that I see is the Merc Treads. That was a huge mistake on Alex, and if he loses the game, I would pin it on the Treads. My game froze for a moment. Okay, go back. I'm a few seconds behind now. Here's Alex going in for another attempt. Scares Fate off. Let's refresh to make sure.
Alex's flash will be up in 1 minute. That's probably his all-in window is when he has flash.
His passive should be up a little bit before flash, so he needs to not lose his passive for 45 seconds. His passive will win him a fight, 100%. I think the Draven doesn't have enough burst damage at this point. He has so much health. He hasn't bought anything recently. Now would be the time. The Draven's out of there. He ain't having any of it. Alex has 30 seconds on flash. The big deal is to not pop his passive. If he can last that long, I think he might have something here.
Alex has begun leveling Roar instead of his Trample. I don't know if I agree with that.
For the generic Volibear build, you max bite and then you level Rolling Thunder, the dash afterwards. for the movement speed mostly, which I think is a big deal in this fight. The most you get out of Majestic Roar is damage, and I don't think he's gonna be bursting down Draven with his Roar anytime soon. He's not building AP.
And this is going to be the Volibear passive down, though. Oh, and this
flash.
is going to be a dead Alex, it looks like.
Yeah, that is. Fate timed that immaculately.
Oh. They've both backed off. Left each other on no health, no sums apiece.
Fate timed that ignite perfectly, but it wasn't enough to get rid of that Volibear. Volibear does Volibear things. They're both gonna Gentleman's back. If Alex or Fate, Alex is actually on a ward. Fate could have stayed for the wave once he saw Alex back. Seeing mistakes on both sides of the field here in terms of hacking. Like Fate could go for the CS victory at this point, 100%, and staying for that wave would have brought him even closer.
Yeah,
Let's see what
Alex should be going for that CS victory at this point.
Alex goes for a Giant's build. What's he building towards, do you think?
Potentially pivoting towards a Deadman's Plate.
I don't hate that.
Looks like Draven is going straight for the Bloodthirster, which makes a lot of sense.
Okay, that's why he wasn't buying any like other items. I would have liked him to buy some more short swords than from that last back when he was sent back the first time Alex killed him.
I would have liked to see some long swords as well.
Yeah, the XP difference has slowly diminished, but the CS difference has not.
Cheeky try from
went around.
Alex.
Yeah. This might be something. His Q is a longer cooldown. No, it's not happening.
Oh, a notable thing is Alex's tower is very low.
Yeah, Fake has like multiple paths to victory. He could kill Alex, he could go for CS victory, or he could just go for tower. If Alex backs one more time and Fate's aware of it, and Fate doesn't have to go back, then that's a free victory. Alex's pass, I will note that Alex's pass is up in 5 seconds. Neither of them have Ignite or Flash. Now would be a good time to all in, and if Alex is smart, he'll be looking for Fate to oversee.
Looks like Fate is respecting it though.
I would, at this point. Volibear with probably a max bite, almost. He has a level 2 ult, which does ridiculous damage. What's the cooldown on Draven's movement speed? Okay, Blood Rush is 8 seconds. So it's funny, the movement speed abilities have basically the same cooldown, off by only a couple.
Yes, but Draven's movement ability gets refreshed every time he catches an axe, and
Yeah, so
Volibear has no such.
Alex just
luxury.
needs Flash in order to close the distance. He could go for Righteous Glory, I suppose, but like, there's no way he can pivot the build at this point. Fate's gonna reach CS victory or tower victory at that. When it reaches that point, at least. Just CS things happening.
Interesting little screenshot. Alex keeps trying to go for it, and
Alex's
Alex
pass is
has
about to go.
taken-
Ignite.
Alex
Alex
taking
needs
a
to back
charge
off.
shot, though.
He needs the back off right now. If he dies the Draven ult. He does not. If he dies the Draven.
Oh no!
He's going in. What are you doing?
And
What
that
are you-
is the game.
Yikes. He was safe. He was able to get away, but then Fate
could've done
Fate would have won through tower or CS at that point. Alex had no choice.
Well, Fate has now achieved 2 different victory conditions, so that is the game.
And is 8 CS away from winning through CS. That's
All right.
Unfortunate game there
Now-
from Alex.
Coming back in here, I'd like to talk to the competitors and get their thoughts on it as well. It doesn't seem particularly fair that it's only a best of 1 on random champions.
right.
I'm going to bring them in right now and get their
Motivational?
takes on that, but I
Right.
think we might look at a best 2 out of 3. If Fate agrees to it, it will be Fate's call because he is currently the winner, so he'd be forfeiting his win.
No, it's not.
All right, so bring something up real quick. This is Fate's decision and Fate's decision only because it was brought up ahead of time. We were talking about it. We think it might have been more. We originally, because we'd wasted so much time in select, we said best of 1. If you guys want to do a best 2 out of 3, we'd be fine with that. But it's Fate's call because currently he has a win, so he'd be giving up a chance for the win.
I already closed the game,
Wait,
so
so like-
I'm just
so
gonna
like
leave
a-
that to Rise, honestly.
So a BO3
If
for
he wants
league?
BA3 for
Yeah.
league. Yes. So you guys would do up to 2 more of those randoms. If you don't want to, that's fine. It's your call.
Yeah, we'll just we'll just skip it because it takes like 2 years for Fate to open his launcher.
All right.
Yeah, I closed it because my
Yeah.
my thing was stuck in the reconnect screen. So when
Yeah.
it's like that, I can only close it.
All right. Then for the League One ending, Ray, we'll be seeing you. Thanks for hopping in, and we're going to move over to Pokemon Showdown. So
All right.
Yes. I don't know where to put this on my Twitch thing.
Have
I
a
don't know
good
what
one.
game I should choose.
Maybe
Bye,
just like the
Ray.
latest Pokemon
feels
game.
weird force
Actually, no.
disconnecting
Alright,
somebody,
we'll do that.
but
I do that all the time.
Jesus.
So what's the format that you're doing for Pokemon Showdown? Are you guys making teams or are you doing randoms?
We're doing
No,
we're doing
it's random.
completely
It would
random.
take so long to
Jesus.
make it,
Yeah.
especially since we both don't play Pokemon like.
Yeah.
that
I sent the
much.
challenge. Did you?
Wait, what? I didn't get anything.
I hate this. I already hate
I
this.
didn't get anything from you.
Look right next to your the
I
fucking.
see it now. I see it
Okay,
now.
There you go. So we can do
I
random battle.
accept your challenge, sir.
all right. You got to
Okay.
get us invites so we can watch, or we have to look you up to watch.
Yeah. Do you have a username that we can look? Oh, Rice Bowl Johnson. That works.
Yeah. Oh,
is there
God,
space or
that
is it
was so
just-
loud.
What
no,
is this?
just Rice Bowl Johnson.
Found
No
it.
space.
All right. So don't
God, that game is so loud.
go yet
Yeah,
if
we're
you
not
guys
gonna
haven't
do
started
that.
the timer. I'll throw you guys back, and when you start going, we'll start
Okay.
going over it. All right. So it's a best of 1. Had to correct the league chart there. It's unfortunate that they're basically that everything got so
You got
disrailed.
counterpicked.
He
Riot.
did though, and I'm glad you focused in on this. If he hadn't bought Merc Treads, he actually would have won the third all-in.
Yes.
And he would have taken a 2-0 victory over Fate, or a 2-1
I did
victory.
a double ticket. When he bought Merc Trades, I was like, there's no way he has a chance of winning this. And he got a kill, and I was hopeful for a moment.
In that
Uh,
last all-in, where Fate walked away with 10% health after the Ignite burn, he would have won. All right, so they're hopping straight into this, and they're going right off the bat.
Let's note that Fate has a Dracovish, which is an eye turner no matter what format we're in.
Let's also keep in mind that he just Dynamaxed it level 1. He also went for max Knuckle into the Bronzong. Now, he could just be using the stat boosting move, but Bronzong is part Psychic type, so it's not super effective.
Also, Alex went for the setup for the Stealth Rock, which I wouldn't recommend on a randoms battle because they could just be like an Uber legendary that's not affected by it. You don't know what kind of thing you're up against.
Right. Hopefully he'll get mileage out of it. And switching it Electivire even into a... I don't actually understand what Alex was...
It was raining. It's a water type. You probably thought, hey, this is electric type. It resists water. It's bulky enough to live this. No.
He completely could have just brought in the Bronzong and let it take the hit. Or let the Bronzong take the hit for the free swap. That was frankly, that was bizarre. I don't actually know what he was going for there.
The Delmise, something can happen here, but I don't know what. And also, the Dracovish has Ice Fang.
It is an awkward start. This Dracovish seems almost set up to counter, and Alex just fed away his Dynamax. Delmise is far slower than Dracovish.
It is. He has a Bronzong that's nearly dead and 3 random Pokemon versus a Dracovish that is set up in rain. I don't like this.
You can't
I think
feel like it's...
Gothitelle just dies till water moves, but Fate didn't do it. That's a misplay.
He went for Ice Fang. It may be Banded or Scarfed.
He used the water move when he was Dynamax.
Yes, but Dynamax does not enable Scarfing. So
he might just be Scarfed.
I think he's Scarfed into Ice Fang right now.
Okay. So this is Alex's in then.
Unfortunately,
I feel like against a Delmise, if there was a Scarf, I would have gone for the water move.
Right, and while this is, I'm really not sure what he's going for. Although
Poorly played on both sides.
Alex does have a Melmetal. Now, for people who don't know, this Pokemon was actually banned from solos from the OU within 2 weeks of releasing in the Gen 8 lineup. This Pokemon is known to be ridiculously overpowered. Now, he doesn't have any chance to set up, and he's already taken a fair bit of chip, but depending on what moves it has, if it's not just stuck on Thunder Punch, we could definitely see a reverse Like, we could see this game turn around on an instant from
I
Alex.
think Melmetters usually run like Superpower, Thunder Punch, some Steel type move.
It has its own custom steel type move. I wish I knew the name of it, but it is ridiculously strong. I believe it hits twice for 60 power each, and that's before stab calculations.
This Hitmonchan used Rapid Spin to get rid of away the Stealth Rocks, which didn't overall do that much because this is the second Pokemon that switched in.
And if he'd gone for the Drain Punch off the start, he actually would have taken a KO on Melmetal already. It doesn't seem like it's going to threaten him anyway. He is faster. But
Seems like this is a tanky Hitmonchan setup because it has leftovers in addition to Drain Punch. I guess it's meant to sustain through all the damage.
very possibly. For people who don't know, oh my goodness, Reshiram makes an appearance.
Okay. If Alex is the only one with a legendary on this team, he might be able to do something.
If Reshiram can... Oh no.
Hey, Hitmonchan coming in clutch.
Hitmonchan has landed the 10% freeze chance on Reshiram. And if he has a fire... Not any fire type, but if he has the right moves, I believe... I don't know the ones that do it. I think Heat Crash. No, he doesn't have Heat Crash. Oh, it looks like Reshiram doesn't have it, though. There are certain fire type moves that will allow you to break out of freeze, but as it is, he's completely conceded it. There's a
frozen for
10%
three
chance to
turns.
unfreeze. 10% chance to unfreeze. This is actually much more likely than it seems. This is
Apparently not
really...
as likely as being frozen in the first place.
And here's the Bronzong.
The Bronzong that he tried so hard to protect.
He puts out the Protect, but Fate actually calls it for some reason. Almost... There's really no...
Well, there's no reason not to take it slowly. Well, I guess this Bronzong.
It's already over though. That was a quick game. I'm going to ask them if they'd like to do 2 out of 3 on that, but
Or 3 out of 5.
so yeah, we'll bring them in quickly and get their opinions on that one. Hey,
Well,
good
that
job,
game
Alex.
was really quick, so if you want to do 2
Yeah,
out of 3 or
we're
3 out of
gonna
5,
do
Yeah,
out of
that.
three.
Yeah,
gonna do
we're
it
doing
three.
it 2 out of 3.
Do you want to do a
2 out
3
of
out
3?
of 5?
3 out of 5. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, let's
Alright,
do that.
we're gonna go for 3 out of 5. Just kick up another one. All right, we'll throw them back in there, and we're gonna have to refine this battle. So
Just look up Rice Paul Johnson again.
I mean, first impressions, even though Alex was put in a tricky situation with that scarfed Dracovish, presumably scarfed Dracovish, he did not handle it well.
This is interesting. Have you caught their game yet?
I'm in now. I'm seeing the
It's a
Balloon
Duraludon
Colossal.
versus a Colossal.
It is Balloon Colossal. Duraludon doesn't normally have ground type moves that it runs anyway, so that shouldn't be a factor, but... Ready when... Oh, they're going. They're going. They know. Okay, so he'll kick up a body press.
Alright.
He knows he doesn't have to worry about weakness policy, so that's a big thing. Alex is again going to
I
open
don't-
up the Stealth Rock.
No, that's actually Fate, and I'm gonna criticize.
Oh,
both
they
players
swapped
for
sides
Stealth
now.
Rock.
I see.
Yeah. I don't like the Stealth Rock on either of them choice because you're supposed to use Stealth Rock when you see like an Ice or Flying type on your enemy team. Because like, what if they have like 3 Steel type Pokemon? That's not gonna do anything.
Yeah.
It's a wasted turn.
I've
You're fighting
actually
against a Steel type.
swapped their sides so that it's uniform from last time. Alex is... Okay, so Fate's now got rocks and spikes down, though, and when you pile them together, that's actually a sizable damage chip each turn. He's all but sacrificed this Colossal to get those hazards down, but... Okay. And we saw this
Don't
from
like-
Alex last time. All he's done with that turn is burn a turn of G-Max.
Can you
He's
use
still
Max Guard
slower,
multiple times
and
in
he's
a row?
still down.
Okay.
You can use Max Guard multiple times, but it has the same failed frequency as Protect, so you
Okay.
shouldn't.
If Alex has any Ice type Pokemon though, like they might get destroyed by this set, so it might be worth it.
yeah,
If he has like a Lapras or a Cryogonal,
getting the hazards down was a big... I think that, especially now that there's 2 of them, that is a big amount. I don't have any way to rationally explain that choice on G-Maxing.
both of them have made
Very questionable
G-Max
G-Maxes.
decisions.
They've really just G-Maxed right before their Pokemon were about to die. It almost feels like they have a pact to sacrifice them if Fate hadn't protected
Okay.
that turn.
So here's something that might be able to get rid of this Duraludon is a Dragapult.
Mm-hmm. Dragapult known basically universally to be one of the best singles and doubles Pokemon. So the Draco Meteor is not what I would have gone for. It is better in Well,
Mm.
I don't like that.
I see you are a man of culture as well.
Now,
uh,
having known that he had... I don't like bringing the Dragapult in against this Duraludon, honestly. I mean, it's done and over now, but you don't have many moves, if any, on a Dragapult that are going to super effectively hit it, and you know they're going to have given the Duraludon a Dragon type move, even though these are
Flareon-
random teams.
There should be Flare Blitz, easy get rid of Duraludon.
Absolutely. I wouldn't actually be surprised to see the Duraludon swap out, though. It does have a medium speed tier, so you could definitely pull it in later. And it is already hit on its special attack. We might see it swap out. I do feel like Alex is probably just going to sacrifice it, though, especially considering those hazards.
If this Flareon is spec'd hard into attack, then they might be able to get away with like a Flame Charge, maybe a Fire Fang, if they don't want to take the recoil damage. I would really like a Flame Charge, actually, because that would set up for speed.
He
A
pulls the
Lapras.
Lapras in. It's an interesting
That
choice
gets
because it takes
destroyed.
insane hazards, and it's actually...
What?
The Flame Charge does come out, as you mentioned. And it's poison.
Toxic. Yeah, because it's.
Oh, it's a
because
Guts
of
Flareon. Yes, I forgot
it's
that
a
it...
Guts,
Okay.
It's a Guts with a setup speed. So if they have some of the moves
Interesting.
that's not fire, like maybe I think like every evolution can learn all the like a bunch of different bites. I think maybe.
Now, the scary thing here for this Lapras, and why I'm actually curious about him bringing in, is it's a water ice type. It does not resist fire moves. And actually, he has Facade, which is still just going to hit straight away. He even had a Seeking on bench, and he brought the Lapras in. And it's
They're
dead.
not-
He's got a Sweeper Flareon
Ooh.
set up now. Fate has almost no way of throwing this at this point.
I like this a lot.
Clefable
We
can take
got-
a lot of hits. I don't think it can take a Flareon. Or at least I don't think it can
No,
return kill this
could take-
Flareon.
If,
I
if
think
Fate
it's
does a fire type move against this, then it will tank it. Fairy's resistance to fire, I believe.
no other way around. Fire is resistant to Fairy,
Oh,
and
Fire
Alex
Blast.
uses Fire Blast.
I love it. Well, it's a good thing we put this to the best of 5.
It certainly is. It seems we'll be getting a bit more
Uh.
out of this. Fate should be wrapping this one up fairly quickly. The next turn will easily be the end of this Clefable.
How funny would it be if Alex brought in another ice type be destroyed by the hazards?
It's certainly questionable. Unfortunately, here it seems like he doesn't have a way to remove hazards. You have to think he'd have brought that in by now.
I
But-
think Clefable can have rapid spin, so maybe.
Probably can. Clefable can take almost every move, but and
Ah,
another
I see.
sacrificial Dynamax. Why does
Here, take this.
I'm wondering if the competitors have just agreed on it, or I would be
Maybe-
if Fate hadn't in the first game used his Dracovic to such an amazingly effective
Maybe the
Dynamax.
thought process was Dynamaxing like gives you increased health, so maybe I can survive this.
I'm sure that's what. And there's
Cryogonal.
okay.
Wait, no hazards. It's got
It
like,
levitates, so it's
it's
okay
it's
from
not
hazards,
levitate,
but it
but
is still
Flare
an ice type that gets one shot.
So we have a
He
half
used Flare Blitz.
and a random.
Alex actually has a chance to reverse sweep this because
that should have been a flame charge.
Fate used
definitely.
Flare Blitz for some reason.
That should have been a flame charge. If that was the last Pokemon, sure, go nuts.
Unfortunately, Thievul is, well, not the quickest. Quick enough to easily outpace
Faster
Duraludon.
than
And
Duraludon.
another Bronzong makes its appearance. Alex
Okay,
must be so tired of
Depending
that.
on what moves this has, it might be able to do something.
It's certainly possible, but it doesn't feel likely. It's
Thievul is Dark type, so if this, I believe Steel's effective against Dark, right?
I believe that was reverted actually in Gen
Was it?
6. I don't know for
Oh.
sure, but
Oh, it's a Bronzong with leftovers. We might be able to tank through this.
he actually
And
could.
it
Thievul
has
doesn't
to-
have a particularly high damage output. I say as Dark Pulse comes through.
He did
I don't know
nasty-
how
he
I'd
did
forgotten
nasty
that he
block.
has Stab. He has Stab
He
Dark into
nasty block
Psychic,
last turn.
and
Yeah.
it's gone. And Alex
No,
is
if
down.
it wasn't for the nasty plot, the Bronzong would have lived that for sure. Would have been taken quite low, but would live that definitely. We have
Well-
one more game now for Fate to win. 3 more for Alex if he really believes in himself. I used to be a fan. Used to be a believer. Not so much anymore.
It's not feeling likely. Although I'm in the game now, the third game, and Alex has an amazing lead coming out.
Durand. I think this Pokemon slept on.
This
Could've
Pokemon
seen
is seen in doubles and briefly took over the entire meta because it is only affected by fire type moves and it has extremely high speed, attack, and physical defense. It is a pain to get rid of, and I have to point out, Barbaracle is a physical attacker. It shouldn't be able to do anything in this matchup.
How much you bet one of them? I was about to say, how much you want to bet one of them Dynamaxes and theirs?
And unfortunately, Alex actually misplaced here. Durant has Hustle, which while it does increase your speed, means you can miss. He should have Dynamax to match it.
I actually wouldn't mind seeing a Dynamax right now.
I think he
From
still should.
Alex.
He's taken some chips, so it's unfortunate, but that Durant can absolutely carry him deep into this game. and he goes
yes,
for it.
There
Good.
we go.
The Max
Max
Knuckle's
Knuckle.
probably still the right call. It's not going to be very effective, but it's not going to be. It's super
I don't mind
effective,
seeing
but Barbaracle is also highly defensive.
I would have liked to see him use a steel type move in order to raise his defense. Honestly,
It would have been the better call. You have to think. He has Dynamax advantage in turns. This will be Barbaracle's last turn of Dynamax, but last turn it did 41%, so he does need Steel here to make sure he survives the next move. Max Guard will also do it. I don't dislike that. That's actually probably the better play.
that was smart. I have to hand it to him.
He's passed up the
If he does
Dynamax.
another Max Knuckle and it kills, that might do something.
Keeping in mind that Max Knuckle... Why was it
Ooh.
quicker? Is it
Uh,
Scarfed?
I can't tell.
Barbaracle should not be faster than Durant. If we see another liquidation into this Jolteon, it must be a Scarf. Although
That's
Jolteon is
Freezy.
pretty quick, so it
is
might...
Jolteon. It is one of the few evolutions that does see its spawn competitive every now.
I
and then.
still think that Barbaracle must have been Scarfed. It does not outpace Durant in a normal situation.
I'd have to assume. There's no way. I was looking at what should the speed of Durant be on average,
I
and it's
believe
like
we can actually...
doesn't
Data...
work.
Oh, I'm going to spell this
Oh,
wrong.
Beware versus Jolteon. This Beware is a rather chunky Pokemon.
Slash
you can
data...
I definitely don't think Jolteon has anything that can just one-shot Beware.
Alright, I've confirmed that a Scarfed Barbaracle would lose to Jolteon while beating Durant. It's 68 base speed, Durant is 105, Jolteon's like 123.
Yeah.
So, the Barbaracle does appear to have been Scarfed. This Jolteon is still doing big work for Alex, but it's unfortunately not able to take the instant KO. Does
But
manage
they
to
do
trade. That's huge for Alex. Going down on a deficit right there would have been a big deal. Now they're 4-on-4.
He's come back, and it's random Pokemon, so it's literally it's a coin toss or a dice roll, I guess, because we have 4.
I do think Fate's been the better player overall, but there's definitely been room
Lucario
going back
versus
and forth.
Grass Silvally.
Now, I will point this out. There is a reason why Grass Silvally is not normally used in actual games.
It did just use Flamethrower and did chunk it for like 80% of its health.
It also seemed to be faster again, and it is actually. It's 95 speed, while Lucario's base 90 speed. I do recall that.
Yes.
So this Lucario
does
is
have a
going to
decent-
die.
He does have access to moves that allow him to move first. I'd like him
Bullet
to see
Punch
it 'cause
in
he's gonna
particular.
do either one.
The Bullet Punch would be a great thing to pull out here. We don't know if it actually has access to the move, but if it does, you have to hope it's what. I don't like that choice from Alex. Stonejourner actually has a base 20 special defense, so even though it resists that move, it takes huge damage. It will fire back
But
pretty
he-
hard because of its Power
Its
Spot
physical defense
passive?
doesn't seem that bad.
that is a Life Orb Stonejourner.
I don't think it has the largest health pool.
Interesting situation. Stonejourner, I believe, is very slow. I'll be searching that up real quick.
It's level 88 and its speed could be from 128 to 173.
So it has
If you
base
just hover
70
over
speed.
it.
It's not actually as slow as I thought, and it will massively outpace this Farfetch'd. He has the
and I think
advantage
it
here,
ha-
but he will trade at best because of that Life Orb.
It shouldn't hit him with a rock move, and that should be it.
Yeah, this should be a trade, very easily. Now, whether or not Alex knows the
Alex
speed of his
smart.
Pokemon, that's the question, because most rock types are very slow. Stonejourner being, oh, the Stone Edge hits.
There it is.
Beautiful. Okay, that's exactly
it
the trade that Alex wanted, because now he's in a 3-on-2. His Lucario's
I think he
injured,
should
but it's
move Lucario
fast.
back on.
Lucario's pretty
Lucario
quick.
back out.
Most things will lose to it, so that's probably the right call. The Greedent comes out. Will Alex go for the greedy Belly Drum play? Because there's no way they made this Pokemon without giving it Belly Drum. Even in a randoms battle, it has to have been given Belly Drum.
Probably
it's the
has
signature
a
move.
barrier of some kind to recover from it too.
That's generally what they do. It takes stuffed cheeks, and it Belly Drums, and then it eats 2 berries up to full health. He does go straight to Body Slam, but he lands the
With
Lucky
par-
Para, and
he
that
gets-
probably
he
is
gets
game over.
paralyzed.
Maybe not, because...
No, man.
And he hits the full para. That has to feel awful for Fate. And Grablocked, not the last Pokemon that you were hoping to see. It's
It can get rid of the Greedent. I'll give it that much.
certainly
Which, by the
can,
way,
but just
Why
pulling up
isn't
its
Grapple locked a water fighting type?
a wonderful question that I wish I could answer for you. It should be. I'm trying to pull
Why
up
would
its
you go for-
data, but oh, there we go.
He went for payback on the Grapple locked
Yeah, so
instead of the. Why?
for people who aren't familiar with these Pokemon, I've been trying to bring the data up for the ones that I don't know. Grablocked he swapped Lucario in. This is one of the only ways that Alex actually loses this
He's
matchup.
actually throwing. He's legitimately throwing.
Grablocked has a 42 base speed. He would have hit it first every single time.
He put a dark type out in front of it too.
The Aura Wheel's going to be nice if he doesn't die here, but he does, and that's a Drain
It's a
Punch
crit.
he actually threw.
Wonderful.
If he had
His
kept
one hope is
Lucaria in
body-
the pocket,
body
he
slam
would have
with
won
Real
this.
Eye Is his only way in. Nope.
He's out.
Dead.
It's game.
He threw. He 100% threw.
Fate played it better. No, Alex, it is unfortunate that that crit hit, but there was no reason for that Lucaria to make a showing at that moment. Absolutely no situation where you should be trading that in. And just like that, we have our final wrapped up. Fate takes a rather dominant 3-0 victory over Alex, meaning he actually didn't even drop a game in any of these games. He didn't drop a round to Alex in this series. So we'll have to bring that up when we come in, bring them in for this interview.
Playing this game again,
All right.
or like
Was that
any
you-
game.
You're gonna play this game again, Alex?
So-
is what I hear.
No, never again. I'm never
Never
playing
again.
games ever again.
All right. Well, you seem to have hit him pretty hard with that
that.
victory, Fate. Taking it all the way back to Skullgirls for the first bit, it seemed Leo picked up on this that Fate was going random, so we have to assume that Fate's fairly familiar with that game, or at least more so than Alex.
I just play more fighting games in general. Not,
that
I
will-
haven't touched the game in months as well. Like pretty much the same as Rise. So
I'll do it though, having the fundamentals there.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
The League 1v1, it did get shifted around from how it was originally supposed to be,
Took
but
a while.
going in specifically, there is one choice that we have to go over because it actually changed the outcome of the match. Alex, you bought Mercury Treads against a physical damage
Yes.
character
Yes. I
that
was
only
looking
hits you
at
with
that.
basic attacks.
I was looking at that.
Want to explain yourself, Alex, and your egregious mistake?
I have no idea how to build against anyone.
Okay,
That
okay,
is
Alex,
unfortunate.
And I
I
also
will give
do
you- I will give
not
you
know
a 5-second
how
crash.
Draven was played.
When you're fighting against an ADC, you should build armor because they do physical damage.
We actually,
how you know.
I'd say we did the math, but it's more like we just looked at the results afterward. You had an all-in where both you and Fate fell down to basically one hit health after the ignites burned down. If you had bought Ninja Tabbies instead of Merc Treads, you would have killed him in that fight and taken the 2-1 victory in that match.
Yeah, I was literally just like following the page because one, I've never played volley before, and two, I
You
don't
were
really
certainly
know
in
how
an
to build against
unfortunate
most people,
matchup.
Except for, yeah, I can
It's-
only like build against specific champs that I know I've played against.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a victim of circumstance sort of
Yeah.
thing. There was a chance right there for a comeback, but it was Volley Baron to Draven, melee into ranged, not the favorite matchup that you'd like
Yeah.
to
You did
see.
a lot better in that league
getting
game than I
cooked.
was expecting, if I'll be honest. When I saw Volibear versus a ranged matchup, I was like, okay, Alex loses
Yeah.
immediately. But then you got a kill, so what
Taking
do
the
I
kill
know?
even there. It's a miniature victory in itself. And then going to Pokemon Showdown. The first match went by quickly, so we threw it to a best of 5. I'd like to address both of you on this because it wasn't something that only one person did. Both of you Dynamaxed Pokemon that were slower when they were on like 10 health.
Yeah, they're like 10%
So-
health at Dynamax.
yeah. So we have no idea what any of that
I just clicked the button that was there. Just like, I think now.
You thought like, oh, it's a red button. Eject. Get out.
Yeah. Like we had no idea what any of that did. Like I only noticed it like midway near the end of the first game. Like, what does this button do? So I
That-
clicked it, and then
honestly-
I'm like, oh, I'm big.
That explains a lot, and it
That
makes me feel
explains-
better about the entire situation. So
Yeah.
thank you for that insight.
Yeah, neither of us knew what we were doing, and I forgot some of my type matchups. I completely forgot that fighting was
Weak to
fighting
psychic.
dark. I think.
Oh, dark. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I completely forgot that was a thing.
And like the
So-
Japanese version of those names is like it's hero versus like evil, so that it makes
It makes a bit
sense.
more sense in their translations,
Aw.
but unfortunately. All right.
Unfortunate.
So in the end, it is a 3-0 victory to Fate. The first we've had, though we are only
Yes,
4
go
games
Fate.
in. So do that with that what you will. Thank you guys for both coming out and competing, and I guess we'll see you both in your next games.
Yeah, thanks for having us, dude.
Nice.
Good luck.
And-
Games.
May the odds be ever in your favor.